chaos traditions who can actually summon entities from the Cthulhu mythos. Does it mean they're real? Probably not, but they can make them come to life, make them manifest, whatever they are. Now, the picture in the background, you see that? You see Hitler on the horse? See that? Well, that was painted when Hitler was in the room. That was painted by a German painter called Franz von Stuck. And he had painted that based on the visions he had of a resurrection of the god Wotan, who was also Odin and also the Woden, basically the same Indo-European archetype of the Godfather, or the Father God. And he was going to rise up into Germany and create absolute destruction. And so he painted a painting called The Wild Hunt, and a guy that looks exactly like Hitler, with a little moustache, and the haircut, the comb over, and all this kind of thing, a forelock, on a horse, going through Germany, cutting people down. That was painted while Hitler was in the room. Even more spooky is Van Stuck painted a painting around the same period of Medusa, and it was identical to Hitler's mother Clara. This is how it happens. This is the unseen dynamics of the universe. So, is it prophecy or is it sorcery? I don't know. But the thing is, you will always find that before it happened, these things have developed earlier on, and they were directly connected to many of the individuals involved. And that's also very strongly a part of Indo-European ideas of reincarnation and magic, that you could bring back an individual into the world by kind of venerating them. This is why they would go into the ancient mounds around Europe, and pregnant would go in there and give birth inside them to really the spirit of the ancestor was coming back into the new baby. So your Uncle Frank or whatever was coming back. We're going to have the next slide. Now, 1919 is the year where it all really took off. This was after World War I. Now, you had in Germany roads of endless esoteric and magical societies. In fact, you had them all over Europe. But in Germany, it was a huge thing. You had these were guys who actually used the first time used the swastika as a flag. And they had a castle on the banks of the Danube. They produced a magazine called Ostar, which was basically an occult magazine. Young Hitler had every single issue, and he went out to the compound to get collections that he didn't have. And you had a massive growth in Freemasonry and all kinds of things like this. In fact, during World War I, there were 300,000 Freemasons in the German army. It was part of life. They believed this. Christianity had gone into a kind of a decline, or it had been, especially Lutheranism mainly had gone into a decline. Catholicism in places like Bavaria had still been very, very strong. And one of the societies that came from this was a group called the Thule Society. And the Thule Society were a very interesting bunch. They were aware that Germany was changing, and they wanted to see if they could influence German society directly, both through a kind of a paranormal type idea, a mystical idea, an occultic idea, as well as ideas of actual military and political forces. The idea of joining both together, kind of thing, weaponizing the consciousness as well as the society. And World War I was won by the Germans. Even though they had to sign the surrender document, they basically won it. They defeated the Russians. The British could not get through the Somme, neither could the French. They basically hung on to most of the land that they had captured in territory. Because of the mass slaughter of mostly working class males during World War I, which was nothing more than a savage mass sacrifice by the British royal families and the German and the Russian, they were all related. They were all Queen Victoria's nephews and grandnephews. Again, same bloodline. An armistice was called, and a conference called the Versailles Treaty outside Paris, where Marie Antoinette and all these types, Louis XIV lived, and the Germans were handed a piece of paper by the British and the French and the Russians, and they said, "There's your surrender agreement." And they were like, "What?" And they go, "You're surrendering." And through intense pressure, they forced the German government into surrender. Even even though they hadn't lost the war. And this went and made people in Germany go absolutely bonkers. It caused the country to collapse, and suddenly a new thing called the Weimar Republic appeared. And they lost vast amounts of territory. The Rhineland was lost, Silesia, parts of Silesia, huge areas were conceded to Poland and Czechoslovakia, the Sudetenland, all these areas were lost, as well as all their overseas interests in Africa were handed to the British and French and the Belgians. They were basically, for no reason at all, demolished as a nation. Totally unfair, totally wrong. But I'm looking back on it now, it was deliberately good for a reason. They wanted to stoke up the Germans, and they wanted to fire them up. They wanted perpetual war in Europe. Basically, they were looking for a population push. Because technology was changing, engineering and mechanization was coming along. There's too many Europeans. And so, I know that sounds incredibly cynical, but the people who are running the world are psychopaths. That's exactly how they feel. Now, so anyway, when it collapsed, the Germans were thrown into a psychic confusion. You mean we've lost all these young men? We didn't lose the war, and now we're told to surrender. We're told to hand over everything we have, pay massive repatriations and financial and all kinds of other things to other nations. We have to do this. We have to actually do this. And yes, you have to do it. French soldiers moved into the Rhineland and started bullying and harassing German citizens. The idea was they wanted the Germans pissed off. They wanted them annoyed. They did everything to agitate them. And we're seeing this today with the Arab war, the Muslim war. We're seeing it today. They're deliberately agitating because there's political forces who have vested interests. They don't want peace in the Middle East. They want oil. And the best way to control the oil is to do this. The same in Germany. They did not want Germany